If you're looking for movies or TV shows featuring Hungarian romance movies, you just click on the right video. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on discovering great movies and TV shows again. Number 1. The Duke of Burgundy, 2014. Two women engaged in an elaborate fantasy of domination and submission. Evelyn, Chiara Donna, the youngest, is a shy and hesitant maid. Cynthia, Sidzi Babette Knudsen, a middle-aged woman, is the lady of the house who issues a series of humiliating instructions and punishments to the young woman. It's all part of a game in which Evelyn is the most enthusiastic. The two lovers also attend seminars at the local university on the life cycle of butterflies and moths. But the relationship begins to falter when Cynthia shows signs of weariness, a flaw that will test the limits of their relationship. Number 2. On Body and Soul, 2017.
Звати Андрей, я фінансист.
Марія Раш, я контролер якості на побачення.
Слухайте, у вас є якийсь засіб після гоління?
A slaughterhouse in Budapest, Maria, is new here, and as a quality control inspector, she's not given a particularly warm welcome, especially since she's autistic and therefore adheres particularly strictly to what's in her manual. Almost all of her colleagues avoid Maria, but she at least gets along with the CFO, Andre, who is paralyzed on one side. The two develop a special relationship, one that's even more extraordinary than it initially appears. After a drug intended for cattle breeding that increases animal libido is stolen, all slaughterhouse employees are required to undergo a psychological test. The results of the test confirm the special connection between Maria and Andre. Number 3. Eternal Winter, 2018.
Поэтому бежать вам некуда.
The story of the film begins in December 1944, when Soviet soldiers take working women from the village for little work, harvesting corn for 3 weeks. Irene, who is separating from her daughter and her parents in the hope that they will meet again soon. However, the attackers have a cruel plan for the women. They transport them in cattle cars to a Soviet labor camp, where they must perform forced labor in a local coal mine under inhumane conditions. Here, Irene meets a man named Rajmund, who teaches her how to survive hell. Over time, a personal relationship will develop between them. Number 4. Return of Budapest, 2019. Astrid is in her late 40s and has her life firmly under control. She has fallen in love with Paul, and their first weekend trip together takes them to Budapest for a few romantic days, just the two of them. But in the Hungarian capital, things happen differently than planned. They run into Julius, Astrid's first great love, who she met at an artist's party in the GDR in 1986. It was a love that was never easy, but always exciting. There are still feelings that couldn't really be ended by the course of history. Together with Paul, Astrid looks back at her past, and suddenly everything could be as it had never been. Number 5. Tall Tales, 2019.
Tele a város szélhámosokkal. De te vagy a legundorítóbb.
Shortly after the end of World War II, a con man on the run finds himself in a passionate love affair that may well cost him his life. 1945, Hungary. Shortly after the end of World War II, when chaos and insecurity reign supreme in the country, a con man tries to take advantage of such confused times. Forced to flee Budapest, he's given shelter in the woods by a mysterious woman and his son. Still trying to confront his demons, he soon finds himself in a passionate love affair with the woman whose husband is about to return home from the front. Number 6. Preparations to be together for an unknown period of time.
Azt éreztem, hogy megvan. Én ezt kerestem.
The film tells the story of Vizi Marta, Natasa Stork, a 40-year-old neurosurgeon, falls in love. She leaves her shining American career behind and returns to Budapest to start a new life with the man she loves. But she waits for him at the Liberty Bridge in vain. He does not appear at their rendezvous. Marta starts to search for him desperately, but when she finally finds him, the love of her life claims that they have never met before. Number 7. Romance of Ida, 2022.
Baj, hogy itthon vagyok.
Nekem csak probléma, de neked baj.
A romantic costume drama based on the novel of the same name by Geza Gardoni, filmed in 2022. The main character of the story is 18-year-old Ida, Julia Mentes, who is kicked out of the nunnery where she was raised. She is forced to return home to her father, but he wants to marry her off as soon as possible, so he quickly publishes a classified ad promising a huge dowry. A young painter, Csaba Balog, Barnabas Rohonyi, immediately accepts the offer, whose relationship with Ida is not exactly cloudless at first. However, their mutual contempt for each other slowly turns into attraction and then love. Number 8. The First Two, 2023.
Friend of mine, it's the end.
After an unsuccessful marriage attempt, Sasha needs to leave Budapest and her Hungarian boyfriend to continue her studies in the U.S. As the day progresses, their special bond makes separating in the morning a difficult choice, and maybe a lasting one. However, this movie was made on a micro-budget, and it did not stop it from winning the Myrtle Beach International Film Festival, U.S. and the ECU European Independent Film Festival. The First Two became Cine Super's first film in mostly English language, and we will always hold it dearly. Number 9. Seeing What You See, 2023.
Nagyon szép, ahogy nézel.
Abel, a young man in his late 20s, works for a child rescue company led by the blind Professor Falegi. He has a special ability. Whenever he closes his eyes, he is able to see through the eyes of lost children, and thus helps to find them. His work is his life, which he shares only with the old lady Aunt Mituk. However, everything changes when he makes a mistake and connects to the sight of an adult woman, Vera. Thanks to her, he begins to see the world differently, and a special relationship begins to develop between them. They are getting closer and closer, but this unusual harmony cannot be maintained forever. Number 10. Remeny Telenol, 2025.
Emlékszik valamire, ami elől jó lenne elmenekülni?
The story revolves around the complexity of character, spiritual struggle, and poetic genius of famous Hungarian poet Attila József. The film depicts how Edith Gyomroy, one of the most revered psychoanalysts of the time, tried to help the poet overcome his mental health problems. As the story unfolds, the two characters develop a fascinating relationship in which the roles of patient and analyst often become indistinguishable. In addition to giving an in-depth look into Attila József's psyche, the film also promises a faithful portrayal of early 20th century Hungary and of the reputation of psychoanalysis within the Hungarian scientific community.